Hello ladies and germs, my name is Otis Washington, and today I'd like to talk to you about the truth about the George Floyd situation and what your response should be. I've heard so many thoughts and opinions on the issue, and I still think that we're missing this as a country a little bit. There's an ancient proverb that says, "You shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free." And I'd like to start off with asking ourselves, just why was George Floyd murdered? What's the root truth of that? And to me, it's very simple. The officer did not see George as a human being. He did not see him as an American with the same rights and privileges that he had himself. And a very simple exercise will expose our true bias. Would it be acceptable to your brain to see a young middle-class Caucasian boy, man, woman die in the same fashion? When you picture someone of color underneath the knee of an officer losing his life, somehow to our brain is that more acceptable? And someone would probably get angry and say, no, that's not acceptable. But the truth is we've been accepting it for hundreds of years now. Why? Because the truth is that American society has taught us that black life is worth much less than a Caucasian life. How so? Blacks often get disproportionately larger prison sentences for the same crimes. We have taxpayer-funded agencies that were created to exterminate minorities. I won't get into those specifically, but if you go and read some of their original mission statements, it reveals their true motive. It's time to start telling ourselves the truth. And as Mr. Floyd's life expired underneath the knee of someone that was supposed to protect and serve him, it reminded me what really happened when Columbus came to the shores of America. It reminds me to ask myself why many of our history books are devoid of the truth. It reminds me to ask myself, why is there such hesitation on sentencing of an officer when it comes to killing people of color? It reminds me of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where there were so many successful black-owned businesses that were burned to the ground in 1921 out of hatred and jealousy. Do you know there was a literal law in this country that said a black man is 3/5 of a real person? Many of the laws created in that time were to suppress the psyche of a black man so he could never be seen as a hero in this country. Many blacks fought in World War II for Caucasian freedom. They were fighting for freedoms that they would never see themselves. They turned around and were enslaved when they came home. And they fought so valiantly that it had to be suppressed, lest the black man be deemed as a hero in this country. This is why George Floyd was killed. It's not to inspire guilt, but this is the truth. It's burned into the psyche of most of us, and we still live according to some of these old ways of thinking. Case in point, I've had really great experiences with police officers. They've been fair and kind for the most part, yet every time I see a police car, I get this fearful kind of pit in my stomach. I watch him until his car fades into the distance of my rear view mirror. It's been that way since I was a little boy. Somehow I just know that the authorities were meant to protect me a little bit less than they're meant to protect others. Like I said, it's not to inspire guilt. I've been mistreated by people who look exactly like me. I was shot and mowed down like an animal and left to die by individuals who look exactly like me. Ironically, I was shot in a drive-by shooting at church of all places. And if it had not been for the Lord saving me, I would be just another statistic. I've had people of all races work towards my demise. And you will see in a moment that this is not just a message for my Caucasian brothers and sisters. It's an all-inclusive issue. The racial component of this situation cannot be ignored if we are looking at the holistic issue of equality in this country, though. So let's go back to the question. What can I do? What should my response be? And these peaceful protests are excellent, but it's not enough just to be outraged at the death of Mr. Floyd. The real question is, would I want to see a man who looks like Mr. Floyd be my next door neighbor? Would I want a man who looks like that to be my chief of police, my congressman, my president? What if minorities actually grew to become 60% of the American population? How would that make me feel? Could we imagine a country where no race had any advantage over another, no power over another, where we didn't use racially charged terms like black, white, brown, yellow? I mean, yellow? Really? What is that? Are we just handing out colors like Skittles? What if we just thought of each other as people? That is truly what we are. And if we want to live by the mantra, go back to where you came from, that means that we'd all be leaving this country. And that pretty much there'd just be American Indians and some darker skinned people left here. And so this is about as real as you're ever gonna get it. You know, I'm not pulling any punches. If I've heard so many people talk about, oh, we want to make progress. Well, I'm giving you the progress right here. And we've talked enough about the problem. What's the solution? What is the real work? Ladies and germs, I'm about to give you the real work right here. This is for every person, every creed, every color. Hear me when I say this. Until you look at another man and say, I want him to have everything that I have, you have not even begun to be perfected in love and equality. See, this is Cain and Abel. Cain couldn't stand his brother because his brother received the glory and praise that he desired, so he took him in a field and he killed him. If you can't be happy when you see other people blessed, no matter what the situation, then you have a piece of the same thing that killed George Floyd inside of you. If you don't want every man or woman, regardless of creed, color, whatever, to have every entitlement, right, freedom, privilege, advantage, and blessing that you have, then you have a piece of what killed George Floyd inside of you. It's not enough to just want this for every man. You have to actively pursue it. You have to be angry when it doesn't happen. You have to hold men in power accountable when it's not happening under their reign. Do we truly want equality? I will be the first among us to admit that I have some work to do. It could be something as small as being in a meeting and somebody else is getting the praise or attention that I may have desired. Somebody's getting a promotion that I desired, I felt should have come to me. And I really hate that feeling that comes over me when something like that happens. I've worked really hard to eradicate it, but sometimes I still struggle. And you may say, oh, that's nothing. Everybody feels that. That's not even a racial thing. Ladies and germs, this is my whole point. It's not so much about race as it is every man treating others like they would want to be treated in every situation, every circumstance, in every way, shape, or form. And though it be small, I have to acknowledge that I battle with a piece of the thing that killed Mr. Floyd. And unchecked, it blossoms into something you can't control. You add that to the underlying bias that many of us already have towards other races of people, and you have a recipe for disaster. What did I say in the beginning? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. As long as you know you are not perfected in equality and are actively trying to change, you are on the path to freedom. We all have work to do when it comes to pursuing the equality and freedoms for all men. We can holler and scream about justice for Floyd all day long, but until we want to see others have the same things that we have, the same freedoms we enjoy, the same rights that we have, it's all just lip service. And this is one of the reasons I call every man or woman brother and sister, no matter what color they are. I don't see people as those people. I see people as my people. I'm reprogramming my brain to respect human life and see all men as a part of a human family. Ladies and germs, it's basic. We have to truly love other people like we love ourselves. We have to truly want for others every good thing that we want for ourselves. We have to truly value people like we value ourselves. This is the solution. This is the real work. Let's get to work. Thanks for listening.